What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well today. We're back on some MX bikes and we are going to be doing some preview bike supercross practice slash training slash general track review anyway. So what we have here is Featherline Supercross. This is a track created by Falcon, who now goes by Eagle in Discord. I think he lost his Discord, so if you wonder who Eagle is, that's Falcon. Sorry to blow your cover. But this is his second release. But I have also seen another track which is outdoors related from him in like pictures in the past, which I don't think's been released yet. I don't know if that's something that he's discontinued or is a work in progress, etc. But one thing that I thought would be quite fun on this is, since the preview 2 bikes came out last night, it'd be worth giving it a go. I have played it a small bit, same as I did on preview 1, just to see the ins and outs of it. And I want to see how it just handles more generic tracks. So I've only tried it on like quite difficult, big scaled slash rough aerial track so far, so I thought I'd see just how it feels generally in these corners. Now the pictures of this track, the reshade that was going on made it look absolutely insane. I'm a little bit nervous about the tops of the jumps like this. I'll be honest, I have seen some funky physics happen recently with my bike and square edges and just sharp angles like this as well, but I will try my very, very best to be nice and smooth over the top of them. In terms of scenery, objects-wise, actually looks really, really cool. We've got a wall of death over there, which I'm very tempted to see if I can try and get up and round. I've had no success with them in the past. But even as much as, like, you know, the track's not perfect. You see stuff's been bumped into, ridden over, and as you come around here and you kind of like start a new lap, you jump over a set of fencing back onto the start gate again. So there is some unique touches in here as well. So I'm excited to spin some laps, get some more time on this bad boy for the most part. And yeah, let's see how it goes. Now, in my very, very limited testing across this bike and the Yamaha, no, this is the Yamaha, this bike and the Gas, I found that I do prefer the Yami for some reason, even though I am a fan of having a quick shift on my bike. So, reason for that, I don't know. I feel like the Yamaha just feels a bit more planted to me. And I'll give my very, very early thoughts, again, after just 30 minutes of riding this bike now, is it seems like, so before anyone gets the wrong ideas of what's happened to these, the traction hasn't changed, but the power has been increased, and I don't know if there's been some other change there which makes it feel like you have more traction than you used to, but the actual tyres themselves haven't changed at all. So it's worth mentioning that before people say, oh, there's not enough traction, or they've taken it away, or they've added it. Anything you're feeling compared to the preview bike 1 is placebo. So I just thought I'd throw it out there. But whatever change they have made in terms of the power and how the bike handles and tracks along the ground, I feel like you do have a bit more grip on the side of the tyre now, whatever that change was. And because of that, I almost like it a little bit less than I did the preview ones. You know, I played the preview ones a bit more after the video I recorded on them, and I got my head around them for the most part. And the whole aspect of being able to, you know, slide in a corner, cut down really early and get going again, I really enjoyed. But for whatever reason now, because the bike hooks up a little bit more on the side of the tyre, I almost find that it's had the opposite effect. So in Supercross, if you want to like cut down really early, it's now really difficult to initiate that slide. And then when you do initiate it, you have to have so much power underneath you to start it sliding out that it's hard to get the back end to kick out and keep it at that point. It'll just try and come around loads. So I think it's too much grip on the side. But I know that is probably not the most common opinion. I know a lot of people prefer having a bit more grip. But I feel like it's one of the things where on the last bikes I really, really enjoyed on Supercross, being able to go into a corner at a tight angle, cut down and accelerate out of it again. Whereas now when you cut down, it grips really hard and it might straighten the bike out, and I don't know, it's something that I might just have to get my head around again. But again, I'd be interested to know people's thoughts on them. In terms of just general handling and how the bikes ride and play, I do generally really enjoy them. Like the front end on this feels super, super planted, and all the front end issues that I have on the current bikes with, you know, if the front end has too much or too little grip, it'll either just tuck on you and wash, or it'll grip the rut next to you and pull you down to the ground. I've had very minimal amounts of that, and I haven't changed the front tire, I don't think. I think I'm just rocking the sub 80 on the front, and on the rear I'm running the 120/80. I found the 120/90 is okay, but it makes the bike feel a bit sluggish where there is so much grip to it. So yeah, that's just what I'm running right now. I even experimented last night. It because of the whole grip situation, I thought it might be worth testing, seeing if you can get away with just like running a really, really low tyre pressure, and you generally can. Like, it feels absolutely fine. It might sap a little bit of power from you, you know, it'll add some increased roll resistance, rather than just tracking straight and through, it'll drag you down a bit. But no, for the most part, I've not found any issue with doing so. I'm running the normal stock 12.0 PSI in it right now. It doesn't seem too bad. One person, who was it that suggested, I think it might have been BP, suggested that I try the Enduro tyre for motocross. I'm sure there'll be some weird and wonderful tactics that people come up with by the time racing happens in a month. I'm going to hope there's no scummy way of just like, let's just run a, you know, an Enduro tyre with 0 PSI in it, so it's as fat as possible, so you get as much grip and you can go back to railing outsides again. I hope that doesn't happen, but we shall see. Now, one other thing that I really enjoy about these bikes so far, which I think is because it's a bit more slippy on the back than the current OEMs, is the scrubs. I don't know, you can get some absolutely fatty scrubs going on. The one bit of track that really stuck out to me last night was I loaded up Unadilla. Now, obviously you've got that finish line there. There's usually big old ski jump, whichever one you want to refer to it as. You can absolutely lay it flat over that bad boy. Is that? I've been told that the erode's changed on these bikes slightly and how it forms the erode. Is that just a hole that's formed, or is that is a hole that's formed? So the way where the two, is that where my back wheel's landing on the ground? That's very, very strange. I don't think I've ever seen ruts or holes form like that before. Bearing in mind, I am only on one erode right now. So, little old me, one person, riding around the track. What have I done? 3 laps? This might be my 4th time landing this finish line jump, 3rd time. That is very, very odd. Okay. I'm generally going to be intrigued to see how these form with a bunch of people. I know that the game handles erode in a very, very strange way. You know, like if there's 10 people racing on point 1, it doesn't form the same way as it would form with one person racing on 1. Why? I don't know. Just MX bikes. But yeah, so it gets a bit more harsh on running on 1. But I thought 1 shouldn't be too bad. I mean, I feel like 1 should be the baseline. I have no idea why like 0.08 or whatever is the baseline of what we have to use. But obviously it makes sense because of how the bikes ride and how the road forms. But I thought the game itself, Barboso's erode, I feel like 1 should be the base value of a realistic amount of damage one bike does to a track, you know. But you can see there's kind of some holes forming in this as well. It could even be down to the soil that Falcon used around here. I have no idea if he went and changed it or if he just stuck on, you know, general soft soil and then just let us have at it. But yeah, that was really weird. I don't think I've ever seen holes form like that on the landing of a jump. There's some here as well, some in the sand. Look, hang on, let's reset, spin it around, go backwards. Yeah, look. There's just holes here where I've landed in the sand. I've never seen that. I've never seen it like compress into such a small specific point in a hole before. I've seen like here we've got ruts actually going into the corner. You can see how it's starting to form. But yeah, I've never ever seen it where it just creates one dent in the ground like that. That is very interesting. I'm generally intrigued. I might have to see if I can find a public lobby on these bikes at some point because that is very interesting indeed. Right, let's see if we can do... It's almost like a straight rhythm of ramps going on here. Does this lead one into the... It does lead one into the other. No. Oh, God. What is... Oh, no. Wait. Oh, no, that jumps up... No. Oh, sorry, I'm such an idiot. That jumps up and over the whole thing. Or you can, like, tire tap it and go all the way up and over. So let's actually just try and hit the ramp itself. I never, ever seem to... That was... Please don't tell me I'm stuck. No, I'm stuck. I can't get out. I was very, very surprised at how close I managed to make that then. I never usually get that far around because the game can be a bit funky. It will like distort your camera based on your angle when you're on a slope and all sorts. So it can be really tricky and technical to actually get the right angle. You have to almost like just get it all ready beforehand and just be a passenger and let the bike do what it wants to do underneath you. So we'll hit this bad boy. I'm going to go for it again. So I went too far left this time. So I go further to the... Oh, too far right. Nah, see, it's hard because of the warpage of it. It wants to send you to the right, but then you kind of have to steer to the left, and then the traction's lacking a little bit. I think I've used these exact same fences on one of my tracks before, you know. Free assets off CG Trader is an absolutely wonderful thing. Do really, really... I've been enjoying the whole modelling side of things right now. Obviously not in person, you know, like... I know I have a handsome chap, but you know, with my body type, my physique, you ain't going to get any modelling contracts ever. But in terms of actual, let's say, object modelling, so Blender, I've been having a good time. Spent the last like 4 days or so making a bunch of objects for a track that I am going to be working on. I haven't actually started on the track itself yet, and I was actually a little bit hesitant in even mentioning that I was doing another track, because I know people will then just keep asking, oh, when's it coming out, and so on and so forth, and then I'll be worried and like start trying to rush it, where I want this to be as like one-to-one exact replica as it can be. The track in question is Moto 101 in the UK. I was very fortunate enough when I went to the Vets Motocross Nations at Fox Hills. I spoke to the owner, and well, me and BP went and spoke to the owner and kind of showed him our little world of MX bikes and what it entails, and he just kind of gave the okay. He'd love to see Moto 101 in game, so that is currently what I am working on. I'm almost a little bit nervous to start the track itself, because I always have a feeling that it will never ever be as good as I want it to be. You know, when I think of like good track replicas, I straight away go to like the GP tracks, for example, and how good a job JV does on those. And I know that I'm never ever going to be JV. It's just how it's going to be. You know, some people have a real talent for things and years and years and years worth of experience and practice, and some people are lins. So I don't think it's really going to happen. But the actual object side of things, I'm really happy with how it's come along so far. I've gone through the entirety of Moto 101's Instagram so many times now, looking at just like GoPro videos or just random pictures they were tagged in, just try and get all the different angles of different objects that are dotted around for me to make. And I am also going riding there in the near future. I'm not going to say exactly when, because I know some of you will try and turn up on the same day just to say hello. But yeah, in the near future I'm going there, so I'll be taking like my full normal camera anyway and take pictures of everything and see if I can... It'd be nice even. So if let's say I've got an object in front of me and it's got a certain design or pattern on it, instead of me going into Photoshop and trying to replicate that, why don't I just get my camera and just take like a square straight on image of it, and then I can just paste that on it. I'll show you actually. I'll show you what I've worked on. So this is an object that I was looking to make. This is, I guess, like your barrier, your entrance before you get to go into the paddock. And this is the first thing that I have started, made, textured, and finished myself from start to finish. And see, it goes from this to then me making the object in Blender and then having like making the texture for it and overlay into like a 200 layer PSD that's very messy, and then end up becoming this in Blender. So quite excited for that. I feel like it looks okay. I'm trying to keep things as low poly as possible to help with performance. Like everything that you see here in front of you is 15,000 triangles, which is still a lot. I think I need to go through and like try and optimize and delete as much unnecessary fluff as possible. But everything else that you see here kind of semi-existed before, but then I've taken an existing model. Actually, no, it's a lie. This fence gate didn't exist. I made this fence gate here. And then we've also got like chestnut fencing going on. Oh, I hate the camera in Blender, which I made. This was a edited watchtower. L21 made this for me, to be fair, so W him. This existed on the internet. Made these, to be fair, made these signs. This barrier was a really high poly one before, which was like 7,500 triangles, and now it is 50, so I made it a lot smaller. And yeah, obviously big Moto 101 sign. This is like the staple of the track. So yeah, I'm just working on stuff. I don't know why I'm going through and making all of the objects for a track before I'm even making the track itself, but I'm enjoying it. Every day seems to be a learning day in Blender as well. Doesn't matter how many times I do a certain thing or try and delete textures or edges in a certain way, it seems to always give me different results in the end. So I'm getting there. I'm slowly learning the ways, learning the tools of the trade. But yeah, really happy with it. I haven't got that many more custom objects to go, to be fair. I think they've got a little calf there as well, which I need to texture and work on, but I'll take some more pictures of that close up when I get there. And other than that, they've got a few like shipping containers stacked up on top of each other to make an office. And yeah, other than that, I think it will actually just be track after that. But even if like the actual height map comes out well, I generally think the hardest bit about track building in this game, getting right to make a track look perfect, is the texturing. And that concerns me. Because if you, let's say you've got, you know, these objects that look great, and then you've got a height map that rides really well. If the track looks like doo-doo, and it looks like a bit of Play-Doh and flat and 2D, it just kills the whole vibe. You know, it's got to look good as well. So I'm hoping that I can do it justice. But that's why I'm trying not to rush things either. I'm going to give myself like a very generous time scale of, let's say, like 2 months to get this done. And obviously, whether it's going to be free or not, don't know. If it ever does get to a stage where it can be considered track quality, I might put it on a chat, the track, I might put it up on the shop for something like 50 cents, or like the free one, but people can donate if you want to. I don't know. I'm very tempted. I don't know. I don't know if I have that sort of quality in the locker, but we shall see. We'll see what happens when we get there, because obviously it is a lot of time and a lot of effort. I spent the last 4 days doing nothing other than sat in Photoshop and Blender. I know obviously my time and schedule and the amount of time I can sink into these things is a lot different to everybody else. But yeah, I've been sat here for like 10 hours plus a day doing that, and actually just ignoring making videos. Like yesterday, I didn't have a video and I didn't have any excuse for it. It was purely just I was sat there modeling things in Blender. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but it's a long way away at this point. But overall, like, this track seems absolutely fine. I'm a little bit I do get nervous on the takeoff some of these jumps, because they are quite peaky and quite steep. This wall jump going into the sand here gives me some issues, but I suppose it does do a good job of actually making you check up and slow down for it, so you don't go flying up into the air. So it's a good thing, but then also maybe a bit too steep. But the bikes seem to handle it okay, so am I just complaining for the sake of complaining? These bikes, I haven't had as much grief around here at all, to be fair, as I was having on just the actual aerial tracks. But I do need to remember that aerial tracks are not made for these. They are made for the current, let's call them OEM bikes. And you see, it's getting around no problem. I am still very, very concerned about what's happening in the landing zones. I've never seen that before. It is generally really, 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 really worrying. Let's take what we have here and where the Beck wheels landing and these like divots that are forming, and times it by 20. Say we're having a Supercross race. It's going to be a bit of a minefield when you're landing. And then imagine that through whoops as well. I hope it doesn't form like that through whoops, like just one harsh dent. You can just start going over the bars from little holes that are forming. But if that's intentional from the OEM boys, then cool. I would be very intrigued to see how that rides in a full lobby, because that is probably no cause for concern, but that's concerning me ever so slightly seeing that for the first time. Yeah, other than that, the bikes are okay. Definitely more grippy, even if it's not actual grip that's been added to the tyres. Whatever changes they've made to the bikes give the bike more grip, and the way it puts the power to the ground gives it more grip. The front end feels great. Scrubbing feels really, really fun. I would prefer the amount of grip that we had in Preview 1, but I know that the general community, I think, will like these a hell of a lot more. So yeah, good stuff all around. W's. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please do drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. It's very much appreciated. And have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to. I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.
Lynn's in the zone, never backing down. Riding MX bikes, he's the talk of the town. 2022 champ with a YouTube crown. His game is tight, no signs of slowing down. Late nights, bright lights, he's chasing that fame in the digital arena. Writing his name, she's a 10 out of 10. Supporting his lane, hairline might receive, but his passion's the same.